I am Anna Seawold, and this is Authentic Parenting, a podcast about personal development in the context of parenting, where I explore how you can find more calm, connection, and joy in parenting through the process of self-discovery and inner growth with a trauma-informed lens. Today, I want to talk to you about supporting kids during this pandemic to cope with stress, function better, and do well in school. As the pandemic continues, parents everywhere are struggling to keep consistent routines, navigate remote learning, work from home, juggle housework, parenting, and the many obligations at the same time. If you're concerned about your children's emotional health and well-being, about their performance at school, about their education, and how you can best support them, then this episode is for you. I have been getting a lot of questions, emails, and messages. Parents feel aggravated, frustrated, hopeless, disempowered, exacerbated. Here is one. During these crazy times, it seems my high school son is no longer interested in doing any type of schoolwork. He is missing assignments and is not studying for tests. Any suggestions? He is a terrific kid. I just don't know how to handle this. Here is another one. Hi, Anna. I am knee-deep in Google Classroom with the twins. I thought I would be able to take a break for an hour to talk to you, but if I do, they will be quote-unquote in school all day. LOL. Can you relate? I can, because I'm a parent too, and I have noticed some changes in my own daughter. Before I continue, I would like to mention 2 recent episodes that have been getting a lot of traction, and I think they will be great complements to today's episode. If you haven't listened to them, I think it's a must for you to really check them out. And if you have listened to them, please revisit, re-listen. I am positive you will learn some new things and glean some new insights. The first episode is episode 251, How to Raise a Self-Driven Child, with Dr. William Stixrud, who is the co-author of the How to Raise a Self-Driven Child book. This is a fantastic episode, so timely and relevant. I really enjoyed chatting with him as his approach is so resonant with me. He talks about stress, its impact on children, their development, their brain. He talks about giving children more control over their lives. He talks about different kinds of stress and how it's important for children to go through stress, to be able to develop resiliency, and so much more. The second episode is episode 247. It's a solo episode, The 3 R's of Pandemic Parenting. In it, I talked about the importance of regulation, routines, and relationships. Your own regulation is really key in helping your children. Beware of your own anxiety and stress. Your children are sensitive to your internal state, and they can pick up on your own anxiety. Emotions are contagious. So today, I have 11 points. I hope the ideas and strategies that I share in this episode will give you fresh perspective, reshift your focus, provide some hope and clarity and encouragement for creating change. The first thing I want to emphasize is don't lose sight of the fact that parenting is a relationship. First and foremost, what does it mean? Parenting is not a thing you do. It's not a set of tricks or strategies. It's a lifelong relationship. And just like any other relationship, it requires presence and nurturance. So, point number 1, be on your child's side. These are difficult times. You are not your child's principal. You're not your child's boss or manager, when you find yourself raising your voice, raising the pressure, the demands, the control, stop. Can you put yourself in their shoes? Can you be a little more empathetic? You're not out there to get your child. Can you be on their side? Some of the points I shared today are short, some of them are a little long, but here is point number 2. Prioritize mental health and emotional well-being. I really talked about this in the 3 R's of pandemic parenting. I talk about this during our support calls and in general with my clients every day. Your children may exhibit new behaviors, have more meltdowns and tantrums. They may withdraw, isolate. They may not show motivation in schoolwork or in fun activities. They may feel extremely anxious of the COVID, going outside, going to stores, feeling fearful. Can you open room for their feelings? Can you simply show up and listen? Validate. Be available. Do not deny their reality. Do not talk them out of their feelings. They're real and valid. Can you practice emotion coaching like the way we are teaching on the podcast? And in order to do this, you need to be well-rested, regulated, and well-resourced. That's a tall order. That means you need to practice some radical self-care too. Point number 3, protect sleep. Now, if you're familiar with my framework of the 5 domains of the wellness wheel, the first domain I talk about is the vitality domain. In it is sleep, hydration, nutrition, exercise, downtime, and let's put screen time. Today, I really want to emphasize the importance of sleep. But quickly, I want to mention a really great episode about screen time because many parents are really worried about the increased screen time. And we recently did an episode with Anya Kamenetz that is titled, Should You Worry About Your Kids' Screen Time in This Pandemic? It's episode 244. And I think Anya Kamenetz, my guest, really answers some of the most important questions that parents have. So sleep. I'm a sleep zealot. Sleep is so vital. Everything in nature rests. I personally go to bed early and wake up early, and I make sure that my daughter gets sufficient sleep every day. Because if she doesn't get enough sleep, trust me, I will know the next day by her behavior. When you don't get enough sleep, the connection between your prefrontal cortex and amygdala is weakened. It doesn't take much sleep deprivation to impact thinking and cognitive performance. So if you want your children to pay attention and learn and perform at their best capacity, protect sleep. So consider what happens when we sleep. The brain replays experiences, integrates and consolidates memory and information. Sleep heals. Sleep is vital. Sleep deprivation is a form of stress. And you know that we have a lot of stress already in our lives right now. Emotional control is dramatically impaired by sleep deprivation. And I'm positive every parent knows that when their children don't get enough sleep, they are irritable, angry, they have outbursts, they're not agreeable, they're very cranky. So we need to regulate their sleep. Sleep impairs judgment, sleep impairs blood sugar regulation, and on and on. So I don't want to lecture you about sleep. In short, sleep optimizes the functioning of the brain and the body. Without sleep, your sense of control weakens. Our bad habits are exacerbated by insufficient sleep. So when I work with parents, believe or not, the first thing I take a look at is sleep. Is how much sleep their children are getting. Are they getting enough and quality sleep? Is your child chronically sleep deprived? How do you know? Do they get up cranky in the morning? lack of sleep is going to affect their behavior, their mood in a huge way. Also, it's going to affect their appetite. They're going to crave junky, sugary, carby, white foods. And it sort of becomes a vicious cycle. Lack of sleep is a stressor. And when we're stressed, we tend to lose sleep. So once you correct the sleep, so many things fall into place. I know it's easier said than done. And it can look very differently with different aged children. And you can't force sleep. So how much sleep does your child need? For toddlers, 12 to 13 hours with naps is pretty decent. Preschoolers, 10 to 13 hours with naps. 6 to 13-year-olds, 9 to 11 hours per night. And 14 to 17-year-olds, 8 to 10 hours per night. So now it's your turn to think about sleep, the amount of sleep, and the quality of sleep that your child gets, and to think about sleep a little differently, make that a priority, and try to regulate sleep so that your children will be well-balanced, well-regulated, and it will help them in school. Number 4, helping or handicapping. This is a bit of a sticky point, and I hope you don't take it the wrong way. But I had to say it a little bluntly. Well-meaning parents want to help their children. No questions about that. But how do you help? Is the type of help you provide self-serving, or is it helping your child in actuality? Your desire to help might be to soothe your own fears, ease your own anxiety, mitigate your own worries, meet your own expectations. You may want to feel good about yourself, important, needed. It may give you a satisfaction as in, I'm in control, I'm in charge. It may give you a sense of accomplishment, prestige in the eyes of others, the teachers. Whatever the reason is, you want to look at help. Is it really helpful to your child? Does your child perceive it as help, or does he find it annoying? Your directions, your comments, your constant guidance, your hovering over, taking over their tasks. Is it really helping your child or handicapping them? It may look like help, but it might be hindrance. You may inadvertently create dependence in terms of homework, school assignments, etc. on you if you're too involved. So the question here is, whose problem is this? Whose responsibility is this? If you truly want to help your child, you need to simply ask them whether or not they need your help. And second, what kind of help they need. Don't just assume they need your help without giving your child a chance of figuring out their own challenges, giving some effort, finding solutions, failing, making mistakes, etc. Because if you do so, you're robbing them off of this great opportunity to grow, to learn, and sharpen their skills. You don't want to overpower them or undermine their efforts. We're so quick to jump with helpfulness because we take it personally. Because when our child fails the spelling test, doesn't hand in an assignment on time, it somehow looks bad for us. We think that we are a bad parent, that we're failing at this. Here is how you can communicate helpfulness. I'm going to be in the kitchen making dinner, but after that, I'm free if you need my help. I'm available. That's all you need to communicate, that you are available and eager to help. Offer it and put it out there. When you try to help, micromanage, supervise too closely, take over, monitor, it undermines your children. It communicates a message that you don't trust them, that without you, they can't do their own things. It creates anxiety, learned helplessness. undermines their sense of autonomy. Children need to make decisions, they need to make mistakes, they need to fail and learn. Also, don't be like my client Debbie, who was trying to help on multiple occasions, and when the child wasn't accepting the help, in exacerbation, she just yelled, "I'm not going to help," in a harsh way. "That's it. I resign." This is also not good for our children. We need to respect our children. Do they need our help? And how we do that is by simply asking. Looks like you have difficulty with task X. Do you need help? Do you think you need help? And ask them what kind of help they need. And if the child says, "No, Mom, I can handle this, I'm okay," please do not interfere. Respect their choice and give them some space. Point number 5, adjust your expectations based on your child's age and their development and the current state that we live in. Can you be a little easy? Can you relax certain rules? Can you let go of certain things? Can you step back just a little? I hear many parents are worried about their children's education, the gap in their learning, and on and on. What expectations are you placing on your child? Are they realistic, high, unreasonable? How are you going about trying to get those expectations met? Do you use punishments, rewards, bribes, criticism, judgment, shame? And what problem-solving approach are you using when your expectations are not met? These are some questions to think about. Number 6, let go of control. How is control showing up in your parenting? Are you the type of parent who wants to micromanage everything? Make everyone happy, fix everybody's bad days and mood? How do you know if you're being controlling? Can you be honest with yourself? What are you not wanting to feel by being controlling? So here is how control might show up in your parenting. Do you give unsolicited advice and constant direction to your children? Do it this way, do it now, this is how you should do it. Why don't you do this first and then you can do that? Unsolicited advice and constant direction. That's number 1. Number 2, do you take over? Because probably it's easier for you. You're more efficient. You want to feel good about yourself. After all, you're their mom. You're helpful. Or maybe you have a time pressure. I don't know what the reason is, but do you take over? If you do, then it's time to pause and ask yourself a question. What's the cost? Do you offer extrinsic motivation, rewards, and bribes? Extrinsic motivation, rewards, and bribes may work in a short term, but in a long term, they are very ineffective and they erode the intrinsic motivation. It's time to relinquish this method. Another way you may show control is by not allowing your children to make their own decisions, from very simple decisions to very complex decisions. So I really want you to think about control and how it shows up in your parenting and be a little less controlling and increase autonomy, which is going to be my point number 8. Point number 7, be collaborative. If you truly want to help your children, this is how you can help. You can help them to create a routine, structure, get organized, print papers, set up a computer. Again, by first asking your children what kind of help they need. Some kids really love organization and to-do lists, command centers, etc. You can help them with that. You can give them a whiteboard if they need. Some children may prefer digital reminders, digital calendars, older children in particular. So you want to know your child. You want to have discussions about getting organized, about time management. These are important lifelong skills. Help them with goal setting. Break up a goal into small pieces. Ask them how they would follow through. And this leads to my next point, autonomy. Autonomy is people's need to perceive that they have choices, that what they are doing is of their own volition and what they are the source of their own actions. In episode 251, Dr. Stigsrud talked about giving children control over their lives, and he talked about autonomy, even though he calls it control. In my work, I identify 6 emotional needs of children, and one of them is autonomy. When you lack autonomy, you are more controlled by what others do, think, and feel, and adopt accordingly. You react to and worry about someone else's expectations and reactions and defer to their opinion. You might have difficulty making decisions and taking action on your own. Human beings want to make their own decisions, pursue their own goals, and come up with their own ideas. In other words, they want to feel autonomous. How can you help your child to feel more autonomous, especially during these challenging and uncertain times when things feel out of control? Can you decrease control and increase autonomy? And in what areas you can increase autonomy? Is it really necessary for your child who is doing virtual learning to get up in the morning and get dressed for school? Or is it okay to be in PJs all day long? You need to pick your battles. Point number 9, long-term goals versus short-term goals. Keep your eyes on the bigger picture. We are raising the adults of tomorrow. We need to equip our children with important lifelong skills. How to manage their day, their schedule, how to set goals and follow through, how to manage their mood, their tasks, and so many other important skills that are invisible. The stakes are low today. Let them fail. Let them make mistakes. Normalize mistakes. Failure is part of learning and growing. Ask questions and engage your child into the problem-solving process. Give feedback as opposed to judgment and criticism. And my final point, my number 10 point is face your fears. Do you feel like you're not a good enough parent? Do you take your child's failures personally? Do you think their bad grade is a reflection on you? Do you catastrophize the situation when your daughter, when your son is not performing well? Maybe this is a good time to investigate your own triggers, your anxieties, face your own fears, and uncover the root causes of your limiting beliefs. And in conclusion, I want to say, how do you want to remember this time? This pandemic is still here. It's not going away. This is our new normal. This is our life right now. You're the creator of your own story, pretty much. This pandemic has led to increased parenting responsibilities coupled with more pressure to multitask by being forced to work and care for children simultaneously. Be kind towards yourself. Take breaks. Slow down. It's important that you have patience for yourself. Keep your gaze at the larger picture. When you derail, prioritize. Remind yourself what's important and set new intentions for the day, for the week, for the month, and for this time. I wish you the best. Take good care of yourself. Until next week, connect to the present moment, to yourself and your children. I am Anna Seawold. Thank you so much for listening.